Good afternoon, dear friends. Today in the program, the question is asked by a voiceover. Hello, dear friends. This question is made up of numerous questions that come to our studio. People watch programs, people watch what Natalia Rodina talks about. They are impressed by it, like it, but not everyone still understands what development is. What kind of development Natalia Rodina is talking about. It has a lot of different areas. This is nutrition, health, psychology, and the right thoughts, and work on oneself. That is, there are a lot of parameters. And when people go, for example, to yoga or some kind of gymnastics, they understand this. But what is development in the understanding of our center, in understanding the philosophy of Natalia Rodina? And when should we do this? Well, friends, I'll start with the last question. You need to engage in self-development from childhood. Children are also involved in our center. We have a direction for the development of children, where very professional specialists work. They are my students who conduct this professional activity for the development of children. Then these children go to us for the main courses. And now we are holding the basic course, and several children are already studying with an adult group. That is, these are already such developed children who already understand and realize a lot. And I would call them little oldies. And it is very pleasant that these children are so wise at their age. They are 10 or 12 years old, but they already have a sufficient level of spiritual preparation and development. Yes, their parents do it first, and then they prepare their children correctly, so they are engaged in the proper development of their children. So you need to engage in your development from childhood. But in our center, most of the students are people who are over 30 years old, 30, 40. Sometimes there are people who are 50, 60, 70, or even 80 years old, and we have such students. And we understand that these people should be given the entire program of self-development as a whole. People sometimes think that development means developing a certain aspect of themselves. No, my friends, this is wrong. Development implies and includes all aspects of human life. Health and financial condition, and family relationships, and mental intellectual activity, and level of education, the level of awareness, absolutely all life aspects and worldview and the understanding of life. Therefore, when people come to us, we provide integral development of a person, which gives him the opportunity to live a happy, conscious, developed and wonderful life. Because if you develop only one aspect, for example, you do yoga, but do not develop your subtle bodies, your soul, and you do not get the required level of knowledge, then your yoga will give a result, but it will be a minimal result. When you do both yoga and spiritual development, and read the necessary correct books, and watch the proper films that develop you, and apply the knowledge gained here in our center in your own social everyday family life, both at work and in the store, everywhere, you change, your life changes, your environment changes, you become happy people. If only one aspect is developed in you, there will be no integral life, because you consist of 7 bodies, and all these levels must be developed. And you must take care of everything, of all the nature that you have. Of course, my friends, since the quantum transition is underway, since we need to prepare people so that they can survive the quantum leap, we need to raise energy vibrations. We need to discover abilities today. We need to teach people to resist the influence and impact of the social environment, and not just only this. It means we need to strengthen people. We need to adapt them to a new life. We need to lead them through certain levels of transformations so that they adapt to these vibrations, new cosmic radiations, and passes into the new reality without death, in a conscious state and understanding. In general, friends, the work is very serious. Sometimes my students say, Okay, it's all clear, then I'll come to study, I'll come later. But now the time has come that many people cannot learn from me. But they were given time when I came to them in the city. But now the time is over. The opportunity is lost, and people would like to study, and they watch programs on YouTube, but they can no longer study with us. But if they had made their choice earlier, a year or 2 years ago, they would now be at a very serious level of their development. But now the opportunity is lost for them. Therefore, friends, there is such an expression, a spoon is good for dinner. It means everything must be done on time. So, if there is a call of your soul, a request for development, a thirst of the soul, a desire, then you do not need to allow the ego into your mind in order for it to lead you astray. Because now there is already a war not for life but for death, and many people are really engaged in their own suicide, and they don't even understand how they are drawn into this process, and they don't even know how to get out of this process. Therefore, now people no longer have time to wait or put it off until later, hesitate. It won't work like that anymore. Now the question is to be or not to be. This is the time we live in. And as my students often say, it's good that we made this choice earlier, and now we can go through all these processes much easier than ordinary people. Now they understand it, and for people who put it off for later, this chance may no longer exist. And I think you yourself already see how very quickly reality began to change, and not for the better. Natalia Vladimirovna, you are conducting an interview before taking a person for training. What is it for, and are there categories of people who cannot study with you? Yes, my friends. On the one hand, I am telling you here so beautifully that this should be done. Yes, people really need to study, but on the other hand, I cannot take all the people for this training. I understand that many have already lost their time, lost their opportunities, and even when they have a request, they ask for these courses and they send their photos for interview, but I refuse them. And you know, lately I have been forced to refuse this training to more and more people. They are not ready already. Time is lost. Their intellectual, emotional and mental state is no longer ready to perceive this knowledge, and I am forced to refuse them. And if, let's say, they had begun this work 3-4 years ago, of course, now that distractions which have already happened to them would not have happened. They could properly assimilate this knowledge, expand and introduce it to their families and life. Therefore, I refuse to teach many people, friends, because many are no longer ready to comprehend this knowledge and apply it. What's hindering them? They destroyed psycho-emotional state. Many people are already between the worlds. They no longer know where the reality is, this reality or that other illusory, astral reality that they see, and how to stop and how to restore themselves. So this is the current situation, my friends. Yes, on the one hand you need to develop, but on the other hand, not all people can already do this. Here is such a problem. Natalia Vladimirovna, please tell us about development. It is clear that it is never too late to start doing this, but tell us, is there an upper final level in development? No, it just happens that it is too late to engage in self-development. This is exactly the case I just mentioned. For people I don't take courses, it's already too late. That is, they lost their chance. And what level is the highest level of development? This is the completion of the evolutionary stage on this planet and opportunity to travel to other worlds, to other, more developed planets, where a person enters the stage of the second level of his development, the level of semi-material development of his own soul. And he goes through the stage of the semi-material level of development on other, more developed planets. And after that, he enters the third stage of spiritual development, which is the final one for his soul. But a start must be made on this planet. Why? Because the human soul incarnates here for the sole purpose of wanting to fully experience its knowledge of material existence, material lives. And you are given 1,000 lives for your evolution and your formation here. And when you are already living out your experience, your soul gains worldly material experience to the maximum. It is no longer interested in this planet, it wants more, it wants higher, it is already bored here, and it strives further to other, more conscious developed worlds. But I can't say that there are a lot of such people. Most of the people who come to study with us are people who solve their problems, restore their health, begin to understand life correctly, the laws of life, and are already beginning to live correctly. And for these people, the stage of the right life begins. It is clear that not all of them can reach these higher worlds. This is understandable, but they are already making a very high jump. They are learning to skillfully manage their reality, their life, the circumstances of life, and their psyche, which gives them the process of self-improvement. But I have described you this process very briefly and in general. And if we add the process that a person reveals extrasensory abilities and becomes not just a human being, but a knowledgeable person, an informed person, an understanding person, intuitively feeling, then, my friends, this is a completely different life, completely different. This is a life where you are confident in yourself, you are sure that you can anticipate situations and foresee the future, you make fewer mistakes, you make the right choice, and every choice you make leads you to creation. Every day becomes more and more creative. It's worth living for, my friends. This is wonderful. This is so great. So I wish you to meet your teachers, to acquire the knowledge that you are ready for. Yes, my friends, each person is ready for his own specific level of knowledge. And I wish you success, good luck, prosperity, and self-improvement. Be pure like children.